know my subjects. I'm King Philip II of Macedon. When I was but a boy, around 8 years old, 11, I was kept in Thebes in order to prevent war. When I came home, I didn't bring a lack of things with me. In fact, I brought a great knowledge of Greek military skill and tactic. Our previous military had been weak, and when my brothers were both assassinated within 8 years of their rule, the leadership of Macedon came to me. My first order of business was to become a new military power. So I took our military of only 6,000 countrymen, at the time loyal to their own towns, and I brought them to a centralized military, giving them uniforms and having them all pledge allegiance to me specifically. After that, I arranged us in phalanxes, much like the Greeks, groups of soldiers that would line up. They would have a shield and a spear in one hand. The Greek spears were 9 feet. Ours were 18. We did this so that when we fought them in battle, we would be able to win. These new spears were called sarissas. And with them and our new technique, our new military might, cavalry, something the Greeks never used, archers, and a whole host of other things, we conquered Greece. And after that, we set up Thebes as the hegemon. They were to keep order in Greece while I ruled over Macedonia. Sadly, just after my accomplishments, before I was able to conquer all of Persia, I was assassinated. My son Alexander took control.
My name is Michael Jackson. I was born on August 29th, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. My main accomplishments were that I sold 120 million copies of my album Thriller. I also got the title King of Pop and the biggest entertainer in the world. 2 interesting facts about me are, I did songs in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. My songs are still popular today around the world. I won 13 Grammy Awards. I died on June 25th, 2009. I could not sleep because I had chronic insomnia. I felt exhausted and I could not fall asleep. So I went to the doctor. Dr. Conrad Murray injected me with kinds of drugs they used were very dangerous and knocked me out all night. On the night of June 25th, I died of an overdose of these drugs that Dr. Murray gave me. It was illegal for Dr. Murray to give me these drugs, and I went to jail for 2 years because he died in my care. My name is Gavin, and I chose Michael Jackson because I love his music and dancing. My favorite song that Michael Jackson made was Billie Jean. Billie Jean was a short film made for Thriller. It was the biggest selling album of all time. Thriller was directed by Steve Barron and made history as the first video by a black artist to receive heavy rotation on MTV. It was later ranked by MTV as one of the 100 greatest music videos of all time. Here's a short video of Michael Jackson's Moonwalk.
I will.
My name is Sarah Ann Elizabeth Tyndall, granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain. I was born May 15th, 1981 in London, England, and I am 36 years old, and I'm 6th in line to the throne. My first accomplishment horse, his name was Toy Town. Together we won gold medal at 2005 and 2006 Eventing World Championship. Unfortunately, Toy Town got hurt before the Olympics. In 2008, my other horse, Tsunami II, fell on me and I broke some bones. In 2012, with my new horse, High Kingdom, I finally rode in the London Olympics and won silver in team eventing. My medal was presented by my mother, Princess Anne. Last weekend, I was in Lexington, Kentucky, and placed third out of 50 riders at the Rolex 3-day event. the most difficult competition in the USA. I love riding in my horses. My mom and dad were Olympic riders, and I won too.
My name is Corey. Hello, my name is Corey Ten Boom, and I was born 15/18/92. My dad was a watchmaker and taught me how to be one too. So I was the first girl in Holland to be a watchmaker. In World War II, my family loved Jesus and all his people. But Hitler hated Jews. So me and my family inside our wall made a hideout for all the Jews to hide in. Only me and my family got caught and put in jail. My sister and my dad were both dead. And once we were let out of jail, I helped everybody get houses, get food, and work. I wrote down everything that happened, and I lived to be 91.
Hi, my name is Nikola Tesla. I was born in a thunderstorm on July 10th, 1956, on the stroke of midnight. Because of this, my father said that I would be the son of darkness, but with a flash of lightning, my mother said that I would be the son of light. When I was young, I watched my mother invent small household appliances in her spare time. This was interesting to me. In school, I could easily and quickly answer calculus problems in my head, and my teacher thought I was cheating, but I wasn't. I am most famous for my inventions of alternating current, which is today still used to light the whole world. I invented the Tesla coil, which is used in radio and TV and other electronic equipment. I also invented lasers, X-rays, radar, lighting, and the fluorescent light, remote control, robotics, and much more. Westinghouse and I developed a hydroelectric power plant in Niagara Falls, which was powered by the rushing waters of Niagara Falls. Believe it or not, this had been one of my childhood dreams. I set up a laboratory called Wardenclyffe right here on Long Island in a town called Shoreham, where I conducted some of my most ambitious experiments. And built the Wardenclyffe Tower, which is also called the Tesla Tower. The tower was designed as a world communication center, and it would transmit electrical energy without wires to the entire world. However, J.P. Morgan, who was the richest, most powerful man in my time, stopped giving me the money for this project to be completed. Once he heard that it would give free electricity to everyone around the world. Now the tower is long gone. It was taken down and melted for scrap metal. If you would like to learn more about me and my life work, you can visit the Tesla Science Center soon, which is at the site where the tower used to stand. There you can see a memorial statue of me as well. There will be a birthday celebration and 100th anniversary remembrance of the Tesla Tower coming down this July.
Thank you very much. That was a lot of good information. Okay.
Hi, my name is George O'Keefe. I was born on November 15, 1887 in Wisconsin. I was one of the most famous American female artists of all time. You've probably seen my paintings of bones, skyscrapers, and flowers. I always knew I wanted to be an artist, since even before I was 12. When I was in art school, I won a prize for a painting, Dead Rabbit with Copper Pot, which was very realistic, much different from the style I painted later in life. Around 1915, I started drawing abstractly. I did not want to paint like everyone else and copy other artists, so I wanted to paint my own way. No one else painted quite like me at that time. I did a series of charcoal drawings, which I gave to my friend, who gave it to Alfred Stieglitz, who owned a famous gallery where other artists at the time, like Matisse, was featured. This was the beginning of my career. Later, I got married to Alfred. We stayed near Lake George every summer, but I did not feel at home. I said it was too green. One summer, a friend of mine asked me to come to New Mexico. I immediately fell in love with the desert landscape, which inspired me, and I began painting more than ever before. I went to New Mexico every summer, and later when Alfred died, I moved to New Mexico. I bought a place known as Ghost Ranch. It was there that I painted El Pedernal, which I painted over 700 times, a butte which is featured in many of her paintings. She said, God told me if I painted it enough, I could have it. Every morning, I would take a walk and collect bones for my paintings. My favorite place to paint is in my little car, a Model T. I lived the rest of my life in New Mexico and died in Santa Fe on March 6, 1986, at the age of 98. My ashes are scattered on El Pedernal. My work is still popular to this day. She has inspired many other people.
Hello, I am Jane Adams. I am the first girl. I was born September 6, 1860. My dad was a farmer and a social worker. As a child, I was rich. I got to play outside, read books, and go to Sunday school. At night, I went with my brother to an owl nest on a cliff. My spine was curved, so I went to the hospital. They told me to go to Europe to get better. When I passed through England, I saw people begging for old, smelly food. I came back home. I paid for a broken house and fixed it. I called it the Hull House. I gave people food and taught them how to make their own. I gave people clothes and taught them how to sew them. I taught kids their numbers and ABCs. I also taught adults that at night. I helped people have water running through their homes. I helped people wash their clothes and give people nice beds to sleep in. My house began to grow. Soon there was one just for art, one just for learning, one just for showers and baths, and one just for food and beds. I saw a sweat house where kids worked all day. People offered me $5,000 to let it go, but I closed down that place. I died at 91. Things you can remember about me is I helped presidents, I won the Nobel Peace Award, I helped girls vote, and I saved thousands of people a day.
Hello, I'm Queen Wilhelmina, and I was Queen of the Netherlands. I was born August 31, in the 1880s. I loved my mom, my dad, and my home. My dad died when I was 10. I had sadness, but I chose joy. I became queen at age 18. I married, and I got married at age 21 to Duke Henry. We were madly in love, and after 8 years, I had a baby, and we were so happy, and we named her Juliana. During World War I, my country remained neutral. That means that we didn't get involved or fight. I was called a soldier's queen. I loved my soldiers and visit them often. World War II began for me in May 10, 1940, when Nazis in Germany invaded my country. I was evacuated to a safe place in the UK. I resisted the Germans and encouraged my country and soldiers to resist them too. I used the radio to talk. I talked with my people on the radio. It's called Radio Orange, so my people could secretly hear me during war. My picture was a sign of hope and resistance. When it was my birthday, my people would sing happy birthday to me, and the church had to pay money or else they would go in jail. I traveled during war to be safe and learn new ideas. I wanted the Netherlands to have more than just me. I wanted a cabinet of smart people and elect people to work with me. When war was over, I returned home. I didn't go to my castle, but I went to a country house by my people. I wanted to encourage them, so I rode on a bike to see the people and talked with them and thanked them. I lived to be 82 years old. I am remembered as a strong leader with new ideas. I loved my people. I worked to save my land by building dikes and love my soldiers. I even have a peppermint named after me. Before I died, I wrote a book called Lonely But Not Alone. It was lonely to be queen, but I had a strong faith in Jesus. I welcomed my earthly death because I wanted to have eternal life.
Hi everyone, my name is Walt Elias Disney, also known as Uncle Walt or just Walt Disney. I was born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5th, 1901. When I was 4 years old, my parents moved the family to a farm in Missouri. It was here that I first loved to draw, or found my passion for drawing. After 4 years in Missouri, we moved to Kansas City. I continued taking drawing lessons on the weekends. I even traded my drawings to the local hair barber to get free haircuts. One summer, I got a job on a train. I'm talking way too fast for my own brain. And I would always love trains for the rest of my life. About the time when I was entering high school, my family moved to the big city of Chicago. When I took classes here in the Chicago Art School and draw for the school newspaper, when I was 16, I decided to help in World War I. I was returning to my after I returned from the war and began my career. I wanted to make my own animations. I want to make my own animation cartoon. I started my own company called Laugh-O-Grams. I hired some of my friends, including UBO iWorks. Together we made short films. Animated cartoons. The cartoons was a success, but due to bankruptcy, the cartoons wasn't too good and didn't make enough money, so I had to declare bankruptcy and open a new business with my brother Rory called Disney Brothers Studio. I tried to hire UBI. I again hired UBI Ironwork and hired other animators. We made the character we all know today as Oswald. But due to some legal matters with Universal Studios, half my team was all taken by Universal, and so was Oswald, except for iWorks. Once again, I had to start over, this time creating a new character called Mickey Mouse, but that wasn't his original name. His original name was going to be Mortimer, but my wife decided to change it to Mickey Mouse. I created the first animated film that had sound. It was called Steamboat Willie and starred Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I performed the voices for Steamboat Willie. The film was a great success and continued to work and make new characters such as Donald Duck, Goofy, and Pluto. In 1933, I decided to make a full-length film called Snow White. People thought I was crazy to make a cartoon that long. The film was huge in the box office and became the top film of 1933. I used the money from Snow White to build my movie studio. And plus made more movies, including Pinocchio. Oh, don't skip the page, man. Fantasia, Dumbo, Bambi, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan. In 1950, the new technology of the television was taking off. I want to be a part of television too, I thought. So I made the early Disney television that had shows like Wonderful World of Color and Mickey Mouse Club. Alright, there it is. I died on December 15, 1966, from lung cancer. My legacy still goes on from this day, from my movies and parks like Disneyland. They're still enjoyed, and I hope people love me after my death. By the way, I won 22 Oscars and was nominated for 59.
Hello, my name is Ludwig van Beethoven. The music you just heard is one of my musical masterpieces. I'm one of the most famous composers of all time. I was born in 1770 in Germany. My father wanted me to learn the piano, and he was very rough on me. It was hard. At the age of 7, I started my first concert, and at the age of 12, I published my first musical composition. At the age of 16, I traveled to Vienna, and I showed Mozart my musical talents. He was very impressed. Music should strike fire into the heart of a man and bring tears to the eyes of a woman, I once said. At the last 10 years of my life, I was nearly deaf. And even though I still compose some of my best songs by pressing my ear into the wood of the piano. I died in 1827, and over 20,000 people came to my funeral. Even though I'm still dead, my music are alive.
Hello, I am Hypatia of Alexandria. I was born around 370 AD in Alexandria, Egypt. I followed in the footsteps of my father, who was a mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher. Together we worked on commentaries of the Greek astronomer Ptolemy. I worked with mathematicians as well. In fact, I wrote several books on mathematics. The Museum of Alexandria played an important role in my life. Well, it was more of a university and a library than an actual museum. Many people today believe that maybe my father was the director of the museum at that point. I spent part of my life in the Mediterranean expanding my education. I was educated in Athens, then I went back to Egypt, where I became head of Alexandria's Neoplatonic School. I taught math, astronomy, philosophy, and scientific aspects of Neoplatonism. My reputation led students from all over the world to come visit. I have been called a practitioner of the philosophies of Plato and Plotinus. I was known as a better philosopher than most men, too. Egyptian Bishop John of Nicaea called me a Hellenistic pagan. The nerve. I thrived on truth. I looked for it in everything. Anyway, one of my students wrote letters about my life and teachings. I was close with him and even helped him work on a hydrometer that measures gravity and density of liquids, and a hydroscope to be able to see things under the water, sort of like a glass-bottom boat. They were both made of brass, shiny and beautiful. It was so exciting to see life under the water, without getting wet. I turned down many marriage proposals. Some people thought that I may have been married to a philosopher named Isidore of Alexandria, but that's not possible because he wasn't even around until sometime after I died. Unfortunately, though, I never married, I was friends with the governor of Alexandria. Unfortunately, though, I was never married because I was wed to the truth. As the first woman philosopher and astronomer, I became the target of people's anger because I wasn't in the normal woman's role. In 415 AD, I was killed by a mob of parabolani, or zealots, who accused me of instigating a fight between the governor and bishop of Alexandria. My death was considered symbolic. Historian Kathleen Wilder said that my death was the end of the classical antiquity. To honor me, astronomers named an asteroid, a moon crater, a comet nucleus, and even a planet after me. People began to be interested in my legend. They wrote poems, plays, and movies about me, including the Homeschool historical costume ball that's going on tonight. Remember the name Hypatia? Thank you, and good night.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, everyone. My name is Frida Kahlo. My real name is Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderon. I was born on July 6, 1907. I was a Mexican painter who mostly painted self-portraits inspired by Mexican popular culture. My paintings had strong autobiographical elements and mixed realism with fantasy. I have been described as a surrealist or magical realist. I was born to a German father, Guillermo Kahlo, who was born in Baden, Germany, as the son of the jeweler and goldsmith Jacob Hendrik Kahlo and his wife Henriette. Both were Hungarian Jews who had emigrated to Germany, and a Mexican mother, Matilde Calderon y Gonzalez. I spent most of my childhood and adult life at my family home, La Casa Azul, in Coyoacán. I was left disabled by polio or poliomyelitis. It's a crippling and potentially deadly infectious disease. It is caused by the poliovirus. The virus spreads from person to person and can invade an infected person's brain and spinal cord, causing paralysis, which makes it impossible to move parts of the body. At the age of 18, I was seriously injured in a traffic accident between a bus and a trolley on September 17, 1925. It caused me great pain and medical problems for the rest of my life. Most of the paintings I made during this time were self-portraits. My hobby throughout my childhood was painting, and I began to entertain the idea of becoming an artist during my long recovery. The accident changed my life greatly. As a result of the serious injuries which I suffered to my spine and pelvis, I was subsequently unable to bear a child and was subject to lifelong pain in my back. I met the celebrated muralist Diego Rivera and fell in love despite his being 42 years old. Diego insisted that I should not wear Western clothing, as he believed that Mexican women should only wear Mexican dresses. We were married in a civil ceremony at the town hall of Coyoacán on August 21st of 1929. My parents described our union as a marriage between an elephant and a dove, referring to our differences in appearance. Diego was tall and overweight, while I was small and thin. From 1931 to 1933, we traveled in the United States. We moved to San Francisco, where Diego painted murals for the Luncheon Club of the San Francisco Stock Exchange and the California School of Fine Arts. I had many exhibits through the years, one in the United States, another in London, but received much less attention than I had previously in the United States.
although I was always overshadowed by Diego Rivera. Throughout the 1940s, I continued to participate in exhibitions in Mexico and the United States. I wasn't feeling good during this time, and I started to get worse. I had my first solo exhibition in Mexico City in 1953. The doctor didn't allow me to go to my own exhibition. He told me not to get out of bed, so I got a big truck that transferred me and my own bed to see my exhibition. And I told my doctor, "See, doctor, I didn't get out of my bed. I wouldn't miss my own exhibition." I died on July 13th of 1954 at the age of 47. Good afternoon, my name is Hannah Helfenbein. In fact, my mom's life story is similar to Frida Kahlo. She's also an artist from Mexico. She had an accident when she was little, and she also married a man that is much older than her. And his parents were from Hungary, but the difference is that he is handsome and thin. She painted this portrait of Frida Kahlo when she was 13 years old.
Hello, my name is Joanne Rowling, aka J.K. Rowling. I was born in Yate, England on July 31st, 1965. Do you know who shares my birthday? Harry Potter, of course. When I was a child, I used to tell my younger sister stories I wrote to entertain her. I did well in school like another one of my characters. Do you know who? That's right, Hermione Granger. I got the idea for Harry Potter while on a train from Manchester, where I was teaching English, to London. 12 publishers turned me down before my book was finally published. My publishers told me to use two initials and my last name, so I chose J.K. Rowling. The K stands for Kathleen, my grandmother's first name. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was a huge success. I wrote 6 more books in the series and 8 movies followed. I am now a billionaire and able to help others in need. I donate to many charities, and I am founder of Lumos, an organization that helps children in orphanages be placed in loving homes around the world.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address this fine society today. It has been a long ride from New York City, and I do hope you will, abide by any inconsistencies within my speech. My name is Alexander Hamilton, the person who erected the United States financial system, including principles such as its central bank and various other institutions that would grow to become the democracy we know in this year of 2017. Today, I'll be reciting a speech of mine from the Constitutional Convention of 1787. All governments, even the most despotic, depend in a great degree on public opinion. In free republics, it is most peculiarly the case that the will of the people, makes the central principle of the government, and the laws which control the community receive their tone and spirit from the public wishes. It is the fortunate situation of our country that the minds of the people are exceedingly enlightened and refined. Here, then, we may expect the laws to be proportionately agreeable to the standard of perfect policy, and the wisdom of public measures to consist of the most intimate conformity between the views of the representative and his constituent. If the general voice of the people be for an increase, it undoubtedly must take place. They have it in their power to instruct the representatives, and the state legislatures which appoint the senators may enjoin it also upon them. Sir, if I believed the number would remain at 65, I confess I shall give my vote for an amendment, though in a different form than the one proposed. The amendment proposes a ratio of 1 for 20,000. I would ask, by what rule or reasoning it is determined that one man is a better representative for 20 than 30,000? At present, we have 3 millions of people. In 25 years, we shall have 6 millions, and in 40 years, 9 millions. And this is a short period as it relates to the existence of the states. Here then, according to the ratio of 1 for 30,000, we shall have in 40 years 300 representatives of the people. If this be true, and this is a safe representation, why be dissatisfied? Why embarrass the Constitution with amendments that are merely speculative and useless? I agree with the gentleman that a very small number might give some color for aristocratic suspicion. I acknowledge that 10 would be unsafe. On the other hand, 1,000, as advocated by my anti-federalist opponents such as Jefferson, would be too numerous. I ask him, why will not 91 be an adequate and safe representation? This, at present, appears to be the proper medium. Besides, the President of the United States will himself be the representative of the people. From the competition that ever subsists between the branches of government, the President will be induced to protect their rights whenever they are invaded by either branch. On whatever side we view this subject, we discover the various and powerful checks to the encroachments of Congress. The true and permanent interests of the members are opposed to corruption. Their number is vastly too large for easy combination. The rivalship between the houses will forever prove an insuperable obstacle, and the people themselves have an obvious and powerful protection in their state governments. Should anything dangerous be attempted, these bodies of perpetual observation will be capable of forming and conducting plans of regular opposition. Can we suppose that people's love of liberty will not, under incitement of their legislative leaders, be roused into resistance and the madness of tyranny extinguished at a single blow? Sir, the danger is too distant. It is beyond all rational calculations. It has been observed by an honorable gentleman that pure democracy, if it were practicable, would be the most perfect government. Experience has proved that no position in politics is more false than this. The ancient democracies, in which the people themselves deliberated, never possessed one feature of good government. Their very character was tyranny, their figure deformity. When they assembled, the field of debate presented naught but an ungovernable mob, not only incapable of deliberation, but prepared for every enormity. In these assemblies, the enemies of the people brought forward their plans of ambition systematically. They were opposed by their enemies of but another party. It became a matter of contingency whether the people subjected themselves to one tyrant or another. Now, with regret, I am afraid that I must cut my speech short. I am late for a duel with Senator Aaron Burr.
Well, I am Sir Thomas the Knight, and I am from the Middle Ages. I follow a code of chivalry. This code of chivalry has a lot of rules in it. You have to protect those who can't protect themselves. And you have to be brave and kind. And you have to protect the lords and ladies. Okay, what I wear is the helmet, the breastplate, the shin guards, and of course I have a cape. This is the chainmail, and this is the chainmail. Shin guards, helmet. I am proud and strong. Thank you.